Beardo Benjo.
Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another new VR games roundup video. Today we're looking at all the new VR games that we know of which are releasing in the month of May 2023. Now in my opinion this is an absolutely jam-packed month with some awesome looking new VR titles, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get straight into the list because this is already going to be a slightly longer video than these usually are. Let me know in the comments which ones of these following games you will be picking up this month. Kicking things off on the 4th of May is Rogue Ascent for the Quest 2. Now I personally never thought that hand tracking was a good enough or viable method to control an entire VR game. I always saw hand tracking as something of a gimmick. It's cool when employed in the right way and in the right moment, but I never thought I'd be able to play an entire game with just my actual hands. Then Rogue Ascent came along and proved me completely and utterly wrong. It's all down to the developers and how they implement those features, and the developers of Rogue Ascent have absolutely nailed it. You do everything in this game with your physical hands. You do not need to touch the Quest 2 controllers at all. You shoot, you reload, you move, you block, all of it with your hands. It's a fantastic concept and the game's coming to the full Quest 2 store on May the 4th. Also on May the 4th, Survival Nation makes its way to the Quest 2. Now I'm actually surprised this one's taken as long as it has to launch on the Quest 2. This has been available on Pico for quite some time now. I actually think it came out in January, maybe even before then, but time is a strange concept and I lose track of it quite often, so I could be wrong. Now Survival Nation is a State of Decay style VR zombie apocalypse survival sim that you can also play in multiplayer. You can play online co-op with friends. You need to scavenge, complete quests, explore the land, and take down as many zombies as possible. Now I've played this one quite extensively on PCVR and I've really enjoyed my time with it. I've played it in single player and I've played it co-op, and the gameplay loop of grinding more zombies and completing quests to upgrade your character and ultimately do more damage and earn better abilities is really quite addicting, and there aren't many games like this in VR. Now don't get me wrong, it can get quite repetitive. Exploring this open world and killing endless hordes of zombies won't be for everyone, but the developers do have an extensive roadmap of content to add new exciting ways to play this game for the months to come. I'm hopeful and excited that this one finds a big audience on the Quest 2 and it's releasing on May the 4th. However, despite how good those other games are that are also releasing on the 4th of May, this game right here is my ultimate pick for the entire month. Propagation Paradise Hotel. This game is absolutely fantastic and genuinely terrifying. Yes, I have been playing it already and I will have some gameplay and some impressions coming to the channel very soon, so I can't talk too much about it right now, but I can tell you this. The original Propagation was an absolute smash hit, a free-to-play VR title where you were fixed to one spot and needed to fend off hordes of zombies and other horrific mutated creatures. Paradise Hotel is a completely different beast. The closest thing that I can compare this to, and this is extremely high praise, is the original Resident Evil. It has puzzles, it has exploration. This whole hotel is open to you and it is jam-packed with horrific creatures that are genuinely terrifying. Warner Dev Studios have done an amazing job with this new Propagation game, and I can't wait for you all to go hands-on with it. I'll have some impressions coming to the channel very soon, but seriously, horror fans, fans of Resident Evil, and fans of horror games with a bit more substance, some puzzles, some exploration, and some story, you need to be keeping your eyes on this one. It's gonna be good! Next up, on the 11th of May, the sequel to the critically acclaimed VR puzzle adventure A Fisherman's Tale launches on Quest 2, PCVR, and PlayStation VR. Now I already have a nice big chunk of gameplay and first impressions from Another Fisherman's Tale live on the channel. I'm currently playing through the PlayStation VR 2 version and absolutely loving it. As someone who never played the original, and I know that's probably considered a bit of a crime in the VR community, I've been blown away by the ingenuity of the puzzles in this game. It's so smart. These puzzles feel like they could only ever work in VR, and the game has so much heart heart and so much charm. I do fear that the story will break me emotionally. It's already kind of feeling like a bit of a Pixar. There's going to be some horrible rug pulls and emotional moments, but the game itself, the puzzle solving, the world building is absolutely sublime. If you like games like Subliminal or Portal and you want to check out something like that in VR with really inventive puzzles, check out Another Fisherman's Tale, launching on 11th of May for almost every VR platform. Alright, I don't need to say much about this one, do I? This is one of the very best VR games available to date. It will always appear on my top 5 or top 10 VR games lists. Walkabout Mini Golf. This game is absolutely fantastic, and it's probably one of the very best ways to hang out with friends in VR. It also authentically captures the absolute joy and fun of mini golf, and it's jam-packed with content. They're constantly adding new courses, even some based on IPs that you might not expect. The game is launching on PlayStation VR 2 on the 11th of May, and everyone with that headset should pick it up. Whether you play single player or co-op, you're going to have a good time with Walkabout Mini Golf. On the 16th of May, one of the strangest looking VR compatible games ever is coming out. This is Humanity. Now, there is a demo available for this on PlayStation VR 2, but I haven't had the time to go and check it out myself. From all the trailers and all the gameplay I've seen so far, this basically looks like Lemmings. Hopefully, you're old enough to know what Lemmings is. In this game, you seem to be leading a massive group of humans through some wacky, weird, maze-like, puzzle-like structures, and you have to get them to the end safely. Sometimes they can fall off, sometimes they can be attacked by other creatures, and I guess you want to stop that from happening and get as many of them to the end as physically possible. Just like Lemmings. It looks very, very bizarre, but I love bizarre games, and this one is launching on PCVR and PlayStation VR 2 on the 16th of May. Isn't it about time for a new Joyway VR game? It's been at least 6 months. Well, if you've been thinking that, then here it is. This is Dead Hook. Now, I don't want to sound pessimistic. I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man. I do like Joyway. The quality of their VR games is very high, and it's really clear that as a development studio, they understand what makes a good VR game. My only issue is, if you look at their back catalogue, they have a lot of unfinished products. Stride still doesn't have its single player campaign. Red Flowers feels like a tech demo. I don't know what's happening with Stack, the multiplayer disc throwing game they announced, and Against is probably the only one of their titles that I would say launched in a content complete state. If you go a bit further, they do have other games that have released into early access that kind of never reach the point of being complete, so I do worry when they announce another new game so close to the other ones they've announced before even finishing those. Dead Hook looks fantastic, it looks like Doom in VR, and I love that, but I hope they finish this one and really flesh it out before shipping it. Do you like puzzle games that will absolutely, completely and utterly melt your brain to the point where you think, did I even go to school? Am I an educated person? Do I understand anything? Well, if that sounds like your cup of tea, good news, because Cyan Games have a brand new, expansive, gorgeous looking VR or flat screen puzzle adventure coming this month. This is following hot on the heels, well, not really hot on the heels because it's been quite some time, of Myst and Riven. If you enjoyed those titles, you already know what you're getting into here. This is Firmament, and I'm going to need to eat a lot of oily fish. Is that the thing that helps your brain? Is fish good brain food? I don't know. Whatever I need for brain strength, yeah, I'm going to need to eat some before the 18th of May, because this game will no doubt destroy me. On the 25th of May, a brand new Hello Neighbor experience is launching for VR users. This is Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue. Now, I've said this in previous videos. I've never played a Hello Neighbor game. This will be my first. I understand the concept. You're sneaking into your neighbor's house. I don't really know why. I think you're just breaking in because you're some kind of delinquent, and the neighbour doesn't want you there. He's got secrets, he's hiding things, and you need to find out exactly what he's hiding. The concept is great for a VR game. I imagine this will play out a lot like an Alien Isolation or Outlast style experience where the neighbour is hunting you down relentlessly. There hasn't been a lot of gameplay released for this one. This bit at the end of this trailer here that you're seeing now is pretty much all the gameplay we have, so it's hard to hypothesize exactly what the game is going to contain, but if you've played the other Hello Neighbour games, I'm sure you'll know what to expect. Now this one is launching for Quest, PCVR and PSVR2, but I believe at this stage only PSVR2 is confirmed to be launching on the 25th of May. Stay tuned, it may be the other platforms as well, but right now that's the only one I can confirm. Also launching on the 25th of May is Crimean Mercenary Tales. This is the newest game from Carbon Studios, the developers of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Tempestfall. Now I quite enjoyed Warhammer Age of Sigmar. It had elements that were really good, little sparks of hope, but overall the game did feel quite lacking. I don't know much at all about this new adventure, apart from the fact there's a donkey. Oh my god, there's a donkey. That's exciting. Honestly though, I don't know much about this new game. The trailer itself doesn't elicit a particularly positive response from me. It looks like it has fairly arcadey combat, and it also looks like you can't move whilst fighting. That's the only thing I can really deduce from this trailer. Whenever there's any sword fighting, it looks like you're completely and utterly static. That might be a choice that was made purely for the trailer. You might be able to move around, but it doesn't look like the sword fighting combat is particularly exciting. I could be proved completely wrong. I should be going hands-on with this one fairly soon and finding out what it's all about, but Crimean Mercenary Tales is launching on the 25th of May. Also launching on the 25th of May is Horror Bar for the Quest platform. Now this is actually an older PCVR title that's jumping across to the standalone unit. I'm surprised more titles haven't done this. It makes sense to capitalise on that huge new audience of Quest 2 users to sell an older PCVR game. Now if you've seen Star Tenders, the bartending space game, this will probably look quite familiar to you. It's a very similar concept, except in here there's food involved as well, although it's not particularly appetizing looking food. You're running a bar that is basically frequented only by zombies, and they want the most disgusting drinks and the most disgusting food imaginable, and you have to serve it to them. It's a fairly unique concept, and it's a wacky fun little game for families. The final game launching on the 25th of May is Eragon for PCVR users. Now I actually backed this game on Kickstarter and completely forgot that I'd done so until I just found out today that it's launching this month. Now Eragon is a classic JRPG adventure. It's got some great hack and slash mechanics, gorgeous cel-shaded art style, and a genuinely well thought out story with characters you can interact with, talk to, and take with you on quests. The world itself is expansive with big towns, vendors, and different enemy types to encounter. The game can be played in flat screen or in VR, and I really enjoyed my time with the demo that's still available on Steam. However, the reason that probably most people have got this one on their radar is the fact that it also includes quite in-depth sexy time with the female characters in the game. And if you take them with you on quests, when they get damaged, their clothes fall off. So, you know, there's that as well. That's another reason you could buy it. It's not the reason I backed it on Kickstarter. No, I backed it for the, you know, in-depth JRPG storyline and all the unique VR mechanics. It wasn't the boobies, I promise. Okay, final two games now, and neither of these have actual release dates. First up, it's Hubris for PlayStation VR 2. Now this has been available on PCVR for quite some time now, and it has been confirmed to be launching on PlayStation VR 2 this month, but there's no fixed date at this point in time. Now I played Hubris, I played it all the way through to the end, and it is an absolutely gorgeous VR game. It is breathtaking, absolutely stunning. The world building here is phenomenal in terms of a visual standpoint. The gameplay itself does leave quite a lot to be desired. I do think people should experience this game, see it, jump into it, immerse yourself in that world and really take in just how gorgeous it looks. I'm sure it's going to look absolutely stunning on PlayStation VR 2 with that OLED screen. But yeah, the gameplay for me just felt a little bit flat. A fairly standard run and gun experience with lots and lots of climbing. The game is lots of climbing and traversal over kind of mountains and up vines and things. Very simple puzzle solving, and it wasn't particularly lengthy. I didn't hate it, I just wish they'd done more with these gorgeous visuals. I want to know more about these worlds that they're building, and I'm sure they'll build upon that for follow-up games in the future. I do recommend people check this one out. I think it's a very impressive visual experience, but it is quite light on any substance beyond that. And finally, we go from a gorgeous game with not a lot of substance to an absolutely breathtaking game with tons and tons of substance. Red Matter 2. Now this one is a complete and utter punt in the dark. I don't know that this is coming out in May, but the developers Vertical Robot have said this is very close to coming out. It's coming very soon for PlayStation VR 2. The game is already available on PCVR and on the Quest, and it actually looks as good as this on the Quest 2. They worked some absolute magic with this title. I couldn't believe it. First time I saw it on the Quest 2, I was absolutely blown away. It is the best looking Quest 2 game, hands down, and I'm sure it's going to look even more incredible with that additional power of the PS5, the OLED screen, and then of course the haptics in the controllers as well. It's a fantastic narrative-driven puzzle game, and it has a slightly eerie horror twist to it as well, without spoiling too much. If you like your story-driven narrative games and you like puzzle solving, and you just want to see something that is absolutely breathtaking, then you have to check out Red Matter 2 when it eventually launches for PSVR 2. Hopefully soon. They say it's soon, so I'm hoping really soon. And that is everything for the month of May. Or it's everything we know about right now anyway. There are always some surprises, some last minute announcements. VR games love to drop out of nowhere with very little notice and then just release. That is quite common, so bear that in mind as well. But even without the surprises, May is a very strong month. We've got some great horror in there, a few really gorgeous looking VR games, and some top tier puzzle games across all platforms. Let me know down in the comments which ones you'll be picking up, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Take care, guys. See you later.